Good morning, Wellspring! My name is Judy Bethman, and I'm a part of your Sunday, September 17th, 2023 service team. Early Birds still meets Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the weekly email and on our website. Upcoming speakers for September. Today we have our beloved Reverend Kamatara, and next week Dr. Edward will speak. The Thursday evening group meets every Thursday at 7 p.m. We're continuing the series with Greg Braden called Missing Links. And last Thursday, my head was like blown with what he was talking about. So it's been a real challenge. The September get-together is this upcoming Saturday, September 23rd, at the Brannigan Cultural Center. We are going to see an exhibit on the Trinity Legacies of Nuclear Testing, A People's Perspective. And it's artwork about the Tularosa Basin and maybe people who've had some issues with radiation. The artist shed light on environmental injustices placed on New Mexico downwinder communities, described as persons who live downwind from a nuclear test site. We always think about the Nevada people, but really never the New Mexico people. The exhibit covers the period from the first use of an atomic bomb, the Trinity test site in 1945, to the present day. It's going to be from 2:30 to 4 o'clock, and dinner, it will be at the Amador following. And today after service is our Betty Minden meet and greet, but you've kind of met everybody here, but you need to go on to Zoom and say hi to everybody too, okay? Okay. Saturday, October 7th from 1 to 4:30, Teresa Valenzuelas will host a workshop for $25 on the shadow effect here in the social hall. I have no idea what that means, so come and find out. And lastly, our prayer team remains ready to serve you and support you. You may submit a request via our webpage or give it to Edward. Our prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15 to pray with you. Please consider sitting in your quiet space during that time, because we know we are one in spirit, and the energy of prayer knows no limits. Let us take a deep breath out. And let's take a cleansing breath in. And as we release our breath, let all the worries and cares of the past week escape and go into the cosmos. Isn't it nice that we can breathe and we can cleanse our body and soul and mind and spirit this way? We invite Spirit to come into this blessed place, to be part of our service, to be a part of our lives as we go through our week ahead, to be a part of the universe and all that there is, because we are one collective consciousness. We are all joined as one in love. Everything is spirit. The answer is love, and change your thinking, change your life. For this, we give great gratitude and say, and so it is. Okay, if you are able, please stand for our song of joy. It's Sing, and we're going to do the la-las. right, please be seated and let us read together our vision, mission, and affirmation. Our vision, to celebrate, hold it. Okay. To elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. We can celebrate that too. To support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. Our affirmation. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and the day in which I live. And so it is. And it's my happy circumstance to welcome back Doug Adamz.
And asking for the assistance of Barry Shaw. This is a song by, is it Leslie Duncan? Leslie Duncan. But I heard it first, and you may have heard it first, from Elton John back in the 70s. And I heard it recently and went, we should do this song. Words I have to say, they may be simple, but they're true. Until you give your love, there's nothing more that we can do. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one can offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? You say it's very hard to leave behind the life we knew. That there's no other way, and now it's really up to you. Love is the key we must turn. Truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom the lesson to learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen?
Thank you, Doug. Well, as spirit would have it, my reading is on love. I'm reading from the book Celebrate Yourself by Eric Butterworth. The chapter is Be a Center of Love. And he has some sort of nifty things in here. The world needs the radiation of your love. But don't delude yourself that the world needs your religion. Don't become a proselytizer, a missionary zealot for truth. The world needs unity, not theology. Be a meta-missionary, dealing with seeing things or people right instead of the misguided effort to set them right. Certainly the message is universally needed, but as far as you are concerned, the great need is to change your consciousness, dissolve your prejudices, and heal your fears. The truth is for you. It is a practical process by which you can achieve an effective life and at the same time become an effective instrument of love and harmony. Missionaries heed the Bible by saying, go into all the world and preach the gospel to every nation. But for the meta-missionary, the charge is clear. Go into the world of your own consciousness to convert the errant states of your own mind. Having done this, you are ready to go into the world to preach the gospel or the gospel of love. And your influence will be more in what you are than in what you say. Become a center of love. You will become a positive influence in your community. But more important, you'll be centered in a circle of protection. In this awareness, no harm can befall you, for anyone coming into your space is lifted into the aura of your consciousness. You can become a center of love. Enough centers of love in the city around the nation will help to evoke wise actions by our government and bring the unified support of the people. Enough centers of love around the world will build bridges of communication and peace and love. Love is the answer. A bell is no bell till you ring it. A song is no song till you sing it. And love in your heart wasn't put there to stay. Love isn't love till you give it away. Thank you, and it's now my great pleasure to introduce Reverend Kamatara.
Well, I'm almost already teary-eyed. There's just beautiful music that was absolutely spirit selected, because that is what the talk is about. And then this beautiful reading that was incredibly powerful and clarifying. Some of that was a little difficult and important. So thank you. That was completely amazing. So yes, it's wonderful to be here and to start getting glimmers of fall. Ooh, not the blazing inferno of summer. So I'm very happy to start experiencing fall, and it's always good to be here from Albuquerque. Come on down and get loved up at Wellspring, and then set on back. I love that. Thank you so much. And I've really been thinking about that since the last time I was here, just all the different ways that I've been experiencing love this year, and very intense experiences of love. And in some of the very likely places, like exactly where you'd expect to see them, and then also in some really unlikely places and in really strange ways that I've been experiencing love. So I was thinking, well, how do I experience love? Maybe that's something for you to contemplate this week. How do you experience love? Like, when do you recognize it? Or what does it have to look like for you to see it? Because I know we can use our senses, of course, like, oh, I see this tender gesture between two people, or, oh, there's these kiddos, playing together and laughing, and it's just delightful, or I can taste some homemade tortillas. I'm like, love. Or I can feel, a little baby blanket that's been crocheted, and it's soft, and it's like fully charged, and just gorgeous. I love that. Okay. What is it about that experience that signals to my brain, and hopefully my heart, that this is love right there? What qualifies in my subjective experience as love? So I go to our friends in the Course in Miracles, to my hands down all-time favorite quote, which is, everything is either love or a call for love, right? And for those of you that are big fans, I do have the actual quote from chapter 14. It says, the only judgment involved is the Holy Spirit's one division into two categories, one of love and the other the call for love. So really the big question is, could we build up our recognition of love and discern when it might be missing? Because we know, as the religious scientists that we are, that whatever we focus on, we get more of. Have you ever learned a new word and then you just see it all the time? Absolutely happens. Or when I was on the freshman teams, my first job was as a high school English teacher, and I taught at Valley, go Vikings. And we had the freshman teams, and the same 4 teachers had the same X amount of students, a lot of students, but we had the same kiddos. And we would go to our team meeting, and 2 of the teachers would be like, oh, these kids are uncooperative, they're rude, they're mean, they're lazy, and all the things right down the list. And the social studies teacher and I would be like, do we have the same roster? These kids are funny, engaged, hardworking, we're having a great time, like things are awesome. And it really highlighted for me, far before I was in Science of Mind, oh, we have totally different expectations, and we're getting exactly what we believe about these students. It's just a very clarifying experience for me. So we know that our beliefs about what's possible impacts not only ourselves, but all of those around us. So what if we were to know that love is always possible? What impact would that have? What if we were to look for love literally in all the wrong places? Wouldn't that be amazing? And also, what if love were actually just right in front of us the whole time and we just didn't even see it? Wouldn't that be amazing? Or what if there's an opportunity to be love ourselves? And just think for a minute. So the executive director in me always thinks of ROI, the return on investment. Okay, what if we experienced a 10% increase in love? Would that be significant? If you had a 10% increase, 20%, 30%? I mean, what would it take for you to be like, oh, that is worth my time? And think about how that would impact our sense of well-being and goodness, especially in light of what we may be experiencing in current events. Even just a 10% increase. So today I want to talk about 3 practices to increase the love that we may experience. And the first practice is really easy. It's to practice recognizing love in the easy, obvious places. So just take a moment to think, Where or when or with whom is it really easy to recognize love? Just take a moment to think. And just like that, the energy in the room just went whoop. Did you feel that? It was amazing. Like there were smiles on your faces and your eyes had little stars in them and there was like glitter above your head. No, just kidding. But it's amazing. It's like an instant lift. So the big thing is to remember to recognize it. Like when I'm in family game night with my, my precious young adulty children and my husband and we're, playing Farkle and just like screaming and laughing and having a great time. And can I sit in that moment and go, oh, there it is. Or being in this spiritual community with you all, there it is. Or my beautiful, friends and family and prayer partners who support me, there it is. Or even simple things like our oldest child who now has his own apartment. So proud. And we're just washing dishes together and unpacking boxes and just talking. And there it is. Those are some easy places. But I also want to clarify some other easy places. It doesn't have to be happy. It's also, for me, it's really easy to experience love when things are really sad. Like all the rough patch and turmoil that our oldest child, Skylar, just went through, like the big relationship breakup and the housing crisis and the transportation crisis and the money, like grueling. It's so hard for those of you who are parents or beloved aunties and uncles, when you see your beloved children going through anguish. Okay, I can show up for love as well, just like holding my precious 22-year-old while he just sobs his eyes out like ugly cries and snot and tears, and just like old times, right? So that's an easy place for me to experience love also. So the big trick is, can I feel it? I see it, I get it, I experience it full on, and I acknowledge it. I don't take it for granted. I say the words of it, that I love you, or I love this moment, or I see love in this moment, and really take it in. Because we want to hold on to that feeling tone or that resonance and transfer it to the very next practice we're going to talk about. And you know where we're going here. The second practice to increase your love experience is to practice recognizing it in the unlikely places. Could you bring it over to places you would never even think about experiencing love, like I'm at the grocery store and, experiencing love with the cashier and the people standing in this really long line. Or I'm, in Albuquerque, there's only 6 ways across the river. So let me tell you, there's a lot of people to bless when you're driving. There's just so much to love when you're trying to get across the river. Just saying. So, unlikely place, but my little car can be this little holy tabernacle of love wherever I go. And also, like, as I travel for my nonprofit job, and they say, yep, the flight is canceled, and there's like this fabulous angry mob going to the United counter and the beleaguered counter agents, and I'm like, okay, mobile love unit, here we go. I'm going in, and how can I love up this counter agent? Because she is under fire, and it's wild to just watch, like, the ripples of people calming down around me and being that presence in an unlikely place and having that moment. Or like the last time I was here when I shared the story about my experience with my dad, who's getting very near to his end of life time and passing on his Southwest jewelry to me. And it was so loving that he was giving me his beautiful treasures. And yet he was so angry when he was doing it, that he was yelling at me while doing it, which was a really wild, seemingly contradictory experience, but I could stand in it and see the love that was actually happening. So I experienced a fountain of love through a fire hose of rage. That was a really interesting experience. Or when I was at a particular church where I was helping out and I was the platform assistant and I forgot to do a particular thing during the service, and after the service, a community member pulled me aside and boy, howdy, did she give me a what for? Wow. But all I could think while I was standing there getting this, conversation was happening, all I could think is, wow, this person really cares about the spiritual community. She has so much love for the people and for what could happen here. Like, she wants everyone to have the best experience possible. And so it just rolled right off, and I could just experience the love. I could see her love in that moment, even though she was yelling at me. So what would happen if you were to look for love in a situation that feels difficult, or like a place where you normally wouldn't expect to experience love? It's a great experiment to run. In fact, in my first career, when I was a high school teacher and had my homeroom kids, and there was one particular week where they were all crabbing about a particular teacher. Oh, he's so mean, and he doesn't explain things, and we don't know what's going on, and boo-hoo, and all the things that kids do, And I said, okay, let's just stop. Let's run a little experiment. For 5 days, just 1 week of school, what would happen if you walked into that classroom and you said, "Good morning, Mr. Smith. How are you doing today? Oh, could I help you pass out those papers?" Or being, "Yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, sir, you got it." Or, "Could you help us, please? We don't quite," what would that be like if you were polite and cooperative and kind and generous? Do you think you might have a different experience? And they were like, "I don't know," all the skepticism. It didn't even take 5 days. By Wednesday, the kids were like, he's kind of cool. And he told us this funny story, and we got to know him a little bit. And then when we asked a question, something we didn't understand, he explained it, and the class got a little easier. And I was like, yes, because you met him halfway. So even in what seems like a difficult situation, could we meet someone halfway? And the way to do that could I try to see the love that could be present in the situation that maybe I'm just missing? That would be an incredible increase in our love experience. So a third way that we could increase our love experience is to recognize when love is truly absent from a situation, and just see, is there any way to bring some of it ourselves, if we can. I know sometimes that is a tall order, so I just want to acknowledge that. But this is a matter of discernment, because I don't want to get into the spiritual bypass of like, it's all love and sunshine, roses, and lollipops, because it's not. There are times where you walk in and you think, wow, there is not an ounce of love in this room. And it's devastating, and it's hard, and we need to get honest when that is the case. And can we be brave? And even just bring a little glimmer of light and love into the room. And it could be something like silently holding the high watch for something really tense and difficult that's happening, where nothing could possibly be spoken. But having that presence of love could be a game changer in ways we can't even articulate. Or just that gentle smile, or just something, an encouraging touch. It could be something physical. And maybe it is a direct approach. Maybe there really is a statement to be made, something that would really open things up. It could be, but again, that's a matter of discernment. Like, how might I show up as love in a place where it feels like it is missing? And I think about, there's been a few people in my ministry work where I've had the honor to accompany them as they're transitioning into whatever happens next. And it's always a fascinating situation to step into. And not just for the person who's making their transition, but also for the family members or the loved ones who are in the room. Because some folks have the skills and the capacity to handle that situation, but most people don't. And so when I walk into the room and it is, high tension, huge anger, the demons are running the circus. It is wild sometimes to step into that room. And so I really had to give up my attachment to, the Disney version of someone making their transition, like, oh, they're laying in bed and their loved ones are around them and they're praying and there's music playing and they've reconciled and all that. Like, yeah, that may or may not happen. That may be in that person's life plan. It might not. And I can't be attached to that. But what I can do is be a presence in the midst of the chaos and the anger and the grief and the drama, and not be attached to outcomes. And so what was a really interesting experience in one particular case, I would text the spouse and say, oh, could I visit? Here are some opening times. And then the spouse was like, yeah, you should come. He always behaves more and it's just more, calmer after you come and whatever. And I was like, yes, ma'am, you got it. And it was interesting because as I would show up as love, the spouse and the adult son who were still in the house, I think they also were experiencing that. So I would sit on the couch and, I would hold, the person who was getting ready to go, like I would hold his hand and we'd listen to some New Thought music and we would talk when he could talk and sometimes he couldn't. And we'd pet his dogs. And I hardly did a thing except show up and hold the space for love to be present. And then all of a sudden, the noise and chaos and anger and weirdness that I was getting from the family would calm way down. And then his love and his light could be visible. So it's just an interesting dynamic to observe. It also reminds me of a quote from Stephen and Andrea Levine in the book Who Dies, which you're going to keep getting quotes of because I'm reading it now, and it's blowing my mind. It's classic. I know it's a 40-year-old book, but it's new to me, and it's amazing. He defines the difference between pity and compassion. It's really interesting. He says, when you meet with the pain of another with fear, so when you meet someone else's pain with fear, it is often called pity. When you're motivated by pity, you are motivated by a dense self-interest. You are acting on the aversion you have to experiencing someone else's predicament. When you want to alleviate their discomfort as a means of alleviating your own discomfort, then you are in pity. Pity creates more fear and separation. When love touches the pain of another, it is called compassion. Compassion is just space. Whatever the other person is experiencing, you have the room for it in your heart. It becomes work on yourself to let go, to stay open, to feel that being within you. When somebody else is in incredible pain, though you can't do anything to alleviate it, you don't withdraw. You stay soft, your hand in theirs, sharing their pain without closing around it. To have room in your heart for whatever pain arises, not differentiating between I and other, is loving compassion. So we can hold the space for each other, and we can know love for each other even when we can't know it for ourselves. That's the bounty of spiritual community or beloved friends or beloved family members. Like who is that for us, or could we be that for each other? And I also am reminded of a great quote from James Baldwin. He says, the longer I live, the more deeply I learn that love, whether we call it friendship or family or romance, is the work of mirroring and magnifying each other's light. It is gentle work, it is steadfast work, it is life-saving work in those moments when life and shame and sorrow occlude our own light from our view. But there is still a clear-eyed, loving person to beam it back. In our best moments, we are that person for another. And that's how we increase the love we're experiencing. As Martin Luther King Jr. so famously said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So it's time to practice. And not just love, sweet love, thank you, Burt Bacharach, but also ferocious love and messy love and silent love and gentle love and warrior tough love and everything in between. Because then we can recognize love in the easy places and in the unlikeliest of places and say, hey, there you are, beautiful love. And where love seems truly absent, can we bring it out of the dark corners of our experience to light the room? Because when it comes to love, the goal is either to see it or to be it. So I hope you have a lovely week. Whew, let's take it to prayer. All right. And with all this talk about love, with all these lovely people, it is so easy to recognize that presence of love, sweet love. And to know that the divine is showing up as each person here present, and all the people who come in and out of our lives, and the divine is showing up as all the situations that come in and out of our lives, and all the experiences. And here we are to learn to reverence the horrible beauty that is life, that is the divine showing up, just waiting to be recognized. And so knowing that each person is an expression of that one loving source, the all that is, I know that we each have access to an infinite supply of love. That is our very nature. And so I claim for each one of us a realignment with that which is love and a falling away of anything that is unlike love. And when each one of us steps into a situation, we can see it and we can be it. And then we feel that love growing and growing and growing everywhere we go, in all ways that we see and experience this life. And then the divine just gets to know more of itself as love and more love. And in the times where we can't see it or be it, I know for each one of us that our precious angels, our precious loved ones in our lives come in for us, to lift us up, to relight our candles when it feels like they've blown out. I know that we are surrounded by love at the times when we need it most. And I give thanks for this time together that we can tap back into principle, that home base of love, because that always is the answer. When in doubt, we love. And that is how we God in this life. So I give thanks for the spiritual community, for these principles, this truth, this practice, and the increase of love each one of us is experiencing already right now in our lives. And how that ripples out in bountiful, beautiful ways to everyone who crosses our path. I am so grateful. So knowing that each one of us is divinely guided in loving ways, I let it go and let it be, knowing that all is well. And so it is.
That was wonderful. That was really good. I have a new song for you. This is, brand new. This is its world premiere is this morning. I keep being inspired by these services to write new stuff. And the ink is still wet on the page, and I may have to refer to the page.
Do you need a music stand? There's a music stand up there.
I know, I just took it off of there. My foot is closer. But probably won't need it. It's etched on my heart. Oh, it is important not to have it in this tuning that the Elton John song was in. So a lot of my life, I've followed the path, the way of the worrier. And so when you get those brief moments where things are all right, or you realize that things are all right, that's a great accomplishment. You don't have to have a giddy, exciting sort of happiness. It can just be a calm, grateful happiness. And so this one is called Satisfied. And it is it's great that it is coming out today. It's a big release on Hank Williams' 100th birthday. Because the full title is Satisfied, parenthetically, a hillbilly affirmation. And indeed, it does start out with an I am. Well, I am satisfied, almost content. All the clanking, the angst of a life of strife. I don't know where it went, 'cause I was a participant. I was way in it. Did I tell you that I'm glad to get a break from it, even for a minute? I was a little overbearing, maybe just a little rude and all. But nothing really ever changed very much. I guess it was attitudinal. Just another runner in the human race. Like a zillion other two-legged inhabitants clinging to this piece of dust floating through space. I am satisfied. You could call me cool, even though to the casual observer I could appear to be nothing but a stump-sitting fool. Oh, I am satisfied. You could call me chill. Hey, chill. If you're looking for somebody to be happy in the world, I can jump up and declare I will. I'm not turning cartwheels. I describe myself as stoic, squinting off at the horizon with a countenance that someone might even think might be heroic. I'm looking at the simple things. Shouldn't come as any shock. Simple things, no shock. Like digging on the shape of the clouds as they race and the wisdom of a bug or a rock. Oh yes, I'm satisfied. I'm content. All the clank and the angst of a life of strife. I've had enough. All the clank and the angst of a life of strife. I've been doing in it. Oh well, here we go. Anyway, I'm gonna say, oh yes, I'm satisfied. Did I tell you that I've had enough? Did I tell you that I'm glad to get rid of it? My heart and my mind had the feel of it. Did I tell you that I'm gonna be feel of it? I'm gonna get this right. As I was saying, a participant. Just that one. Okay. Well, I am satisfied, almost content. Did I tell you all the clank and the angst of a life of strife? I don't know where it all went, 'cause I was a participant. I was way in it. Whew. Did I tell you that I'm glad to get a break from it? My heart and mind didn't even get an ache from it. And I never knew what I was going to make from it, even for a minute. Thank you, thank you.
When you record that, I want a copy.
Okay.
Which version?
Well, we're so honored and blessed that you deemed us worthy to perform that. Our beloved Geneva would say you could sing the phone book in this group and they'd love it. You know. All right, it's now time to receive our offering. Is somebody going to bring the basket forward? Thank you, Edwin. As we receive these gifts, we know as a tithing community that Spirit will go out into the community, the state, and the universe and do its wonders. We give thanks for all the individuals who put their life, their spirit, and their essence in these offerings. For this we give great thanks and say, and so it is. All right. Well, there are a number of folks we want to thank, but Sharon left. Sharon did all the fall doodads here, and it looks very nice. She said she was hoping that with the fall doodads, the temperature will go down. So let's hope that is. And we thank our technical team and all these people who make this service possible. Wasn't this fun? Yeah. And we thank you for joining us today in Zoom land and here in the sanctuary. And stay around in Zoom after the meeting so that Betty can say hi to you all. And join us in the social hall for those of you who are here for coffee and conversation. Please stand as you are able and read the benediction with me. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world, and so it is.